So what I'm going to be doing today, since when you have a plant potted in semi-hydro, it tends to repot very well and without any flaws. So I did an experiment with this Miltoniopsis. It was all one plant, and I divided it into 4, actually. Here's the 4th. Divided it into 4. One of the divisions I have put into water, and it's been doing pretty nicely, actually. Have new growth there. So you know what? It's a small division. I'm just going to leave it in this water. Keep the experiment going. This one was potted, or I kept in the old conventional medium. And, oh, roots are a little squish. I'm going to trim some of these roots. It's been soaking for a while. Roots are squishy. And, I don't know. Yeah, look, that one just fell right off. So, trim some of these roots up. And I got new roots growing. Putting this, I'm going to put them all together because it's kind of a pain in the ass having 3 different plants when you can put them all together. So what I've learned from this experiment is I don't like dividing my plants. It's nicer to have a big specimen. And since these plants have been growing so nicely with very little to no wrinkling, see, this is what I used to get, and this is the growth that I'm getting now. I've decided that I'm going to put them all together in one pot in semi-hydro. And these guys have already been in semi-hydro, so the switch will be easy and flawless. So let's get to work, see what the roots look like. But let's check out their root situation. This one's been growing pretty nicely. And here's the fun part of repotting these guys. Nice. Look at all those happy roots on there. It looks great. And I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to leave that. I'm not messing with that. We got some squish, but it's really not that big of a deal. So I'm going to put it in there. Let's dump this one out. Easy. Nice. Look at them holding on to it. So, Miltoniopsis, loving the semi-hydro life. Alright, so I'm rinsing my Lecabees so I can do some more repotting. And what I'm doing is I'm using a big old colander that I found at a thrift store, actually. Using that, watch. So, dump them all in here, put it in the sink. Put the water on warm, hot, warm, whatever. Rinse. Agitate the beads. Get them all floating. Move them around. Just with tap water. And then I switch it, get my colander, put it in my sink, and then dump. They're all in the colander, drained. I rinse some more. I do this about 2 or 3 times, and it gets the dust out, and there's actually dust and bits in my sink, but my sink's kind of dirty, so. But you really have to watch, like, don't skimp on this process. Sometimes I'll just soak the beads in a bucket overnight, but I didn't do that, so I'm going to do one more rinse, and then I'll start potting. Let's see. So I'm going to add my Lecabees at the bottom. pretty good. And I'm going to add this guy right here. I'm going to try to adjust it so that new growth has room to grow, but this one just kind of puts out new growth everywhere. Newest growth is on this side, so I'll go like that, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. This one, new growth seems to be over there, so put that one right there. I'm going to kind of put them in the middle-ish. And then this guy. Boom. Yes. So they all fit in a row, and I could just water them all at once. They'll stay happily together. I mean, they were originally one plant, and I divided them. I kind of wish I didn't. But there. And, you know, the more plants you have, or the more divisions you have, the more growth you have, the more blooms you'll have. So this guy could ultimately put on a really nice display for me. And that is what I'm going for. There. We got room in here for growth. Yes. Now I'm just going to fill up all around it. Here, let me give you a look at what it looks like. That's what we're looking at. All in there. We got room for growth. I think this plant could live happily in here for a few years. So now I'm going to just put all my beads around it. I hope that I've given these plants enough room for some new growth, because really when this plant starts growing, it grows like a weed. I mean, when I originally got this plant, it was the size of one of these divisions. And I was able to divide it up into 4. I've had this plant for about 3 years, I think. It's really a good plant. If you live in the high Sierras, I recommend getting one of these guys because they love it up here. Alright, so there we go. Boom. Done. Ta-da! All nice and filled in. New growth here, shove some new growth there, new growth here, new growth there. So, woohoo! And we have room for more new growth. So, let's put it in its little pot with its little reservoir. Alright, so that's how I'm doing the semi-hydro in this pot here. There's my reservoir, which is visible. And I can actually flush this plant by filling, I just did it, filled the water up and it actually soaked to the top. And then I can just drain out my reservoir to where I want it to be. Actually a pretty good setup for the semi-hydro, and I can see how much water is in my reservoir versus having a solid pot with a reservoir that you can't see. I can see it. And I can monitor how much or how deep I actually want my reservoir to be. That's kind of fun. Alright. Thanks for watching.